So welcome to the second part of creating outbound calls from ServiceNow to Nolio. In the first chapter I covered creating the SOAP message stub. I'm going to show you a method of making calls from ServiceNow to Nolio using something called Glide Ajax, which is a server-side object. We're going to be using a mechanism in ServiceNow called script includes and then make that callable from the client, which will be the third and last part of the outbound how-to video series. From an architecture perspective, this is what we're looking at. We have created the SOAP message stub, which is part of the server-side architecture of ServiceNow. We are now going to use that SOAP stub in a Glide Ajax object, which we will name. And finally, in the next chapter, I'll show you how to make the whole thing callable from a client script and personalized from the ServiceNow user interface. So let's go back into ServiceNow. We're looking at the ServiceNow module. I'm going to use the quick search bar here to go and find my script includes. Again, you have to be a system administrator for this, and you'll see I'm not using a mid server in our example. Of course, if you were, you just create the script include on your mid server. Since we're creating this directly on the instance, I'm going to select script include. I already have a script include example. You can go ahead and click new, but let me show you the one that I already have. So I'm just going to search. I know it has Nolio in it. So the one I did, I named it Nolio Zero Touch Deployment, ZTD. It's very important that the name of the script include is the name of the object that we create inside. I'm just going to click on this to show you what that looks like. You have to make it active and you have to make it client callable. If you don't make it client callable, you won't be able to use it from the client JavaScript side. So let's take a look at this. Let me just blow up the screen here so we can all look at it in a more comfortable way. This is interesting. So I'm creating a variable which has got the same name of the script include itself, Nolio ZTD, and I'm making it a class, and then I'm prototyping that class after the abstract Ajax processor, and this is the constructor function for this Nolio ZTD. If you want more information on this, just type in Google Glide Ajax ServiceNow, and it'll come to a how-to that shows you, walks you through the process, and it's really fairly easy. But essentially, what we're doing is we are creating an object reference here, which we will use to instantiate from the client side later. So all of this you can just copy and paste. Use a different name and just copy and paste this. The important stuff. Here we go. So I'm creating a new SOAP message. You remember my SOAP message was my SOAP message stub was Nolio. The method that I want to run, the XML envelope that I'm going to get, is for run process 2. I'm setting some parameters here. I'll show you where these parameters come from when we make the call to this. And at the end, and this is important, I'm doing a post, which is to say send the message out over web services to the client. I've got a little loop here waiting for the response. I'm trying it for 30 seconds. And then at the end, I'm logging it to the Glide system GS. I'm logging the return and then parsing some XML to get the Nolio process ID, which is an indication that the process that I launched from Nolio did actually run, and doing some handling of exceptions. So very quickly, we've created a script include, created a Glide Ajax object, and in the constructor we have set some parameters that we're going to send to this from the client side script, and then all of this will stick. Again, the reasoning here is that this script include is on the server side. The JavaScript that we're going to tie this with from the ServiceNow client is going to be on the client side. The client side can't make use of SOAP message directly. It needs a server object, and this is particularly what ServiceNow has created this Glide Ajax object for. The other way of doing this is using a business rule, which is a different method that is activated by ServiceNow, kind of like a database trigger. You can look at this, just type in Google business rules, and you can of course create the same SOAP message within your business rule rather than using this method. The reason I'm using this is because I want this to be visible on the user interface when we make the calls from JavaScript, and I think it's a nice method of doing this. So with that, I want to break up the second part of the video. We have created the SOAP message. We now have a glide Ajax object. Join me in the third part of this video series, and we'll talk about the client script and show how we're instantiating and running a Nolio process from ServiceNow.